What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday morning so far. This is MYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm going to talk about the offensive center position for the New York Giants and some people that they can look at in free agency, people they can look at in the draft, and players they can look at internally that could fill the position at center that has been recently vacated after a couple of the Giants' previous centers have departed in free agency. Now, we all know that the Giants went on this past season in 2022 after signing Jon Feliciano to a deal to have him be their center of the present back in 2022, and they also had Nick Gates, who was coming off a serious broken leg injury, who came back and was also part of the mix. Feliciano ended up playing about 16 games last year, dealt with various different injuries, but was at least able to go out there and be a solid run blocker, but struggled at times during the pass protection, even though he did great at about a 96% in terms of PFF in his pass blocking, which is a little surprising, but they gave him that. A little shocked when I heard that. Nick Gates even came in and actually provided some solid depth for the New York Giants in terms of his play after he went down and got hurt. But the New York Giants are now scrambling to try to find out who is going to be their next center due to injuries right now, or due to departures at the free agent center position, because Nick Gates recently just signed a 3-year deal with the Washington Commanders, and just yesterday, we found out that Giants starting center Jon Feliciano has officially signed with the San Francisco 49ers on a 1-year deal. So now the New York Giants are going to be looking to see who could potentially fill in at their center position going into the 2023 NFL season. Now, obviously, there are a couple of solid centers that are on the market. Couple of centers that were on the market previously that got re-signed. You had Garrett Bradbury, who was a free agent, re-signed with the Vikings, 3 years, $15.75 million. You had Jason Kelce, the longtime Philadelphia Eagle, who re-signed with the Eagles. You also had Ethan Pokic, who re-signed with the Cleveland Browns, 3 years, $18 million. You have a couple of solid centers, though, that are on the market. You have Ben Jones, the former Tennessee Titans center, 34 years old. He has been one of the better centers for the NFL in a while, but he is getting up there in age, 34 years old, has dealt with some injuries. He's a guy that the Giants could potentially look at if they're looking for a free agent addition. You have Connor McGovern, the former New York Jets center, who is currently right now a free agent. He's a solid interior offensive lineman that the Giants could bring in. He's a decent center, good at run blocking and pass protection. Decent, not great. He could also be a versatile offensive lineman that could play both guard and center overall. You also have Ryan Kelly, who was just released from the Indianapolis Colts. He's 30 years old. One of the better centers in the NFL as well. Has dealt with a couple of injuries the past couple of years. Nothing too severe, but he's another guy that the New York Giants could potentially explore in terms of a free agent addition at the center position, unless the Giants, and this is where I'm going to transition to this part of the team, could want to transition towards the draft. But he is one of those are two of the better centers that are still on the market, as well as McGovern, whom the New York Giants could potentially look at the center position if they want to go the free agent route and the stopgap route going into the 2023 NFL season. Now you look at some of the guys that are going to be big-time draft picks. Guys that you could look at the center position in terms of overall centers going into this NFL draft. You have guys like TCU's Steve Avila, who is one of the guys that could potentially be an option for the New York Giants in the second, third, or fourth round that you could look at for this team to potentially draft. 6'4", 332 pounds. He's a guy that's he's big, versatile. He can play guard as well. He's even played right tackle previously. He is very well in terms of moving around. I did a little report, a little scouting report on this kid. Big in terms of moving around on the line. Solid in pass protection. Very good at moving the ball in terms of run blocking. But he needs to get in better shape overall in terms of his being able to pull and pass block better. He's a little bit too slow when it comes to that. You have Olusegun Oluwatimi from Michigan. That's another one. 6'3", 310 pounds. He's another offensive center that the New York Giants could potentially be looking at. He's strong. He had turned in a strong year for Michigan this past year at center. He was a graduate transfer previously, where he landed overall with Michigan after playing 32 straight games with Virginia previously. He's a very solid young center. Still needs to develop more. He's one of those guys that really needs to get himself situated. He needs to get himself more developed as an NFL center. I think he's got some decent traits, but his run blocking is still a little bit to desired, and his pass protection is solid. It's good, but I still think that he needs a little bit more development in his game going forward. Now we're going to talk about the guy that everybody is interested in, John Michael-Schmitz. 24 years old, 6'4", 301 pound, nasty offensive center. Nasty. This guy is the prototypical offensive center. He needs to show a little bit better improvement, though, when it comes to handling speed rushers on the inside, but he is a powerful you-know-what. He is a guy that is able to overpower some centers, some defensive linemen in the middle of the field. He has good upper body strength, being able to overpower some certain players in the center position. He's good. He is up there in age, though. He's 24 years old, and like I mentioned, his athletic ability is at times something to be desired. But this kid has got ability. And I think he's easily going to be one of the top centers that are going to be looked at in the NFL draft. Luke Wypler. That's another one. 6'3", 303 pounds. I am becoming a bigger fan of this kid, because I think he's got good upper body strength. He's got good athletic ability. He's only 21 years old. He probably could have stayed another year to really get himself more defined, but obviously he trusts in his skills enough to be able to take a chance going into the NFL. But I do believe this kid does need a little bit more developing in terms of his college play. He's got some big time traits, though. He could get a little bit stronger. He is only 303 pounds. Probably could add on a little bit more muscle and strength. But this kid he's got some good movement. He's quick enough to handle the inside speed rusher. And I think with like another year or two of development, this kid could be a potential steal at the center position going forward. You got Jarrett Patterson from Notre Dame. That's another one. 6'5", 306 pounds. He's a tall center overall. He's strong in the run game, and he's very good in pass protection. 22 years old. He's a plug-and-play NFL center. You put him right in that center position, and away you go. You're going to be good to go. Don't have to worry about development with this kid. He's going to go in there and he's going to play. Even though he did not perform well in the Senior Bowl, I think he's one of the more ready-made centers, along with John Michael-Schmitz, coming into the NFL. And another one of the guys I want to look at is Ricky Stromberg. Ricky Stromberg coming out of Arkansas. I've liked this kid too. 6'3", 306 pounds. Stromberg started as a guard back in 2019. But he's got a lot of traits that people are going to like about this kid. A lot. I think he's going to be able to handle speed rushers, though. I do. NFL scouts and pundits don't think this kid has the lateral movement, the quickness, and the instincts to be able to handle a speed rusher. I disagree. If he's able to show that improvement going into the NFL, this kid could be one of those risers going forward. I think he's more of a mid-round pick. And then you could talk about the in-house replacements for the New York Giants. A couple of those guys that could be potential in-house replacements to take over at center. Ben Bredeson, who in the New York Giants played at left guard most of the season, but he did get a couple of snaps at center. And the Giants could potentially be moving Ben Bredeson, who is scheduled to be a free agent after this upcoming season. Giants could be grooming him at center to potentially maybe take over because he showed well enough at guard, and he has had experience playing center before. And another one of the guys that has an experience playing center, Joshua Ezeudu. Ezeudu played every single position on the offensive line at North Carolina during his career. Played center, he played tackle, he also played guard, which is mostly his natural position. But that's another guy that the New York Giants could potentially be grooming at that center position if, in fact, they want to go the in-house route and maybe draft somebody as a developmental prospect at that center position going forward. But you have a couple of guys right there in Bredeson and Ezeudu who have had experience playing the center position before for the New York Giants. And previously, Ezeudu's case in North Carolina, and Bredeson got some chances with the Giants at center, and he even played it at Baltimore a little bit. There's many different options the Giants could go at the center position going into the 2023 NFL season. You have free agents options like Ben Jones and Ryan Kelly. You have draft people like Jarrett Patterson, Alex Avila, Ricky Stromberg, John Michael-Schmitz, Luke Wypler, and then you have in-house options, Ben Bredeson and Joshua Ezeudu, who could all potentially fill in at that center position for the New York Giants going into the 2023 NFL season. We'll have to wait and see what Joe Schoen has cooking in the pot for the rest of this offseason in free agency, the second wave of free agency, as well as the NFL draft, which is merely only about a month away. We'll have to wait and see what Joe Schoen's going to do. But hit that like button if you haven't already. Give a sub to NYGJeffyT85. More news, updates, and chatter surrounding the New York Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications on next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Giants. And you guys let me know in the comment section, what would you like to see the New York Giants do at the center position going into the 2023 NFL season? Whether you'd rather see them go through the NFL draft to find their center of the future, find somebody in free agency that could be a stopgap, or would you like to see this team go in-house and see what they got in their in-house guys going forward towards the 2023 NFL season? As we know, second wave of NFL free agency and the NFL draft is only a mere month away from happening. So I thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Take it easy, and let's go New York Football Giants, as always. Together Blue, everyone.